Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. Time to shed some light on Navy women's tennis right now. And if you go to NavySports.com, you'll notice a bit of a headline for Catalina Rico and why the native of San Jose, California, just picked up her 100th victory as a tennis player. You did it the hard way, though. It's not just going out and playing one discipline. You're playing both singles and doubles throughout your career. How tough is that to do both? Because it's not like you all have a great deal of time to commit. You've got to be very efficient about your practice time to commit to both disciplines. How do you do that?
Definitely, we have to focus on both aspects, like you mentioned. Normally during practices, we dedicate a certain practice to a singles skill or the doubles with your partner. Throughout the years, I've had many different partners, but
Right.
this past year, I've been fortunate to work with Amanda Sear throughout our time, and we've had a lot of success, and especially this past weekend, we put our skills together to get the win throughout the weekend, and it's mainly just focusing on matching with your partner in doubles, and in singles, it's focusing on what you need to do each match.
A lot of hidden communication when you play doubles. I mean, if you watch tennis, people see it all the time. It's hand signals. It's a nod. It's a mumble. It's something like that, just so you don't let the other team kind of know what you're doing. But how do you develop that kind of chemistry? Obviously, with Amanda, you've got a chance to do that right now. How do you establish that chemistry with the partner? What are the keys to doing that?
Yeah, it's a lot of unspoken things, right? It's mainly game style and how your game styles match together. We're both very aggressive players, so we have that same mindset where if she hits the ball, she can count on me to cross, and if I hit a good ball, I can count on her to make the next shot. And I know that instinctively, because that would be my instinct, that she would do the same thing as well.
How hard is it to play at the net in doubles?
It depends. It all depends. Everything is dependent on how you're playing that day, as well as how your opponents are playing and how they're playing against you. Mainly, the most difficult thing is having the confidence to move, because if you don't have that, then it's not going to work. It's not going to work out.
I was going to say too. I mean, a lot of, let's face it, a lot of at the net, it's reactionary. I mean, there's no time to think here.
No.
I mean, if you faced an opponent before, you may have an idea of how they like to play. But at the net, is it just a game of a reaction? Here's the ball, boom, and do something with it.
Sometimes it is reactionary, but a lot of the times I decide before they even hit the ball that you need to go on this ball, and if they burn you down the line, then that's the case. But more times than not, if you make that decision before they do, then there's no stopping it.
Obviously, as a singles player, 44 wins as a singles player. What, in your mind, what's been the key to playing solid tennis throughout your career here at Navy?
Mainly just keeping with my game style, having a plan going into the match and sticking with it, and adapting throughout the match and not being stubborn. And if you see something that your opponent is doing, like I said, adapting to the environment around you.
I was going to say, you led me into my next question, the stubborn part. Any sport where it involves an individual player, we're not taking timeouts, we're not getting subs or anything like that. It's you and you alone out there. How much do you have to fight yourself at times to fight off that stubbornness where you thought coming in you'd be able to play one way, but your opponent has forced you to try and do some different things?
Yeah, tennis is a big battle against yourself. Any tennis player will tell you that your main opponent is not across the court. It's within yourself, and even though they're hitting the ball back to you, you have to be able to recognize on your own that how you handle point to point is going to affect the outcome of the match. If you look at all the stats, usually it's pretty similar coming out of it. So it's all within yourself and within your own control.
What got you into tennis?
My mom, actually. So she took me out to the courts, and she started me on a bunch of different sports, actually, tennis being one of them. She's a tennis player as well, and I just happened to stick with it.
How hard is this sport to stick with? I know there can be some frustrations along the way where you say, I don't have to do this. I can do something else. How hard was that to fight growing up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there was a point when I was really young where I wanted to quit tennis, but if a lot of people who know me know that if you tell me I can't do one thing, I'm going to stick with it. So it's kind of one of those things where I decided to stick with it because I knew it was going to be a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did, and that's what I stuck with. And I'm stubborn in that way. So there's other aspects of my life in that way as well, and tennis is just one of them.
When did you know that tennis was going to be the vehicle that could land you not only college, but a great college education like this?
Yeah, so I think around like 7th or 8th grade is when I was like kind of recognizing that this could be a big opportunity for me. And just like you said, I wanted to use tennis as an opportunity to get me to the next level in not only college, like academic or athletics, but academics as well. My number one priority was like getting me into a great engineering school, and that's exactly what it did.
I was going to say, you've landed at a pretty good place to that extent too. Throughout your career here, you have landed some terrific academic accolades as a student athlete. How do you manage all of that time to play tennis at a high level, but also to keep your grades, obviously, at an extraordinary level as well?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's just part of that stubbornness. There are people that will say that you can't do do both, and I don't agree with it. And so I always ensure tennis helps me prioritize my time because I know that in order to be able to play on the court, that I have to be able to perform in the classroom as well. So it's really helps me manage my time, and that's something I keep as a priority.
Great stuff. Congratulations on your success so far. Good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right, Catalina Rico joining us here. You can catch up with her and the rest of her teammates on the Navy women's tennis page at NavySports.com.